Hi.
Hello.
So, have you ever been lying in bed and just replaying your day? I'm sure everybody has, right? But you start replaying your day. You start to think, that you wish that you had said something differently, or that you had behaved differently, or that you felt stuck in the same patterns, no matter how much you know better. Today, we're talking about a Stoic practice that part ancient wisdom and it's part modern psychology. Simple term, everybody's heard of it, journaling. And if if you want to prep your mind for the next day, for tomorrow, and break your old cycles, this episode's for you.
Absolutely. And welcome back to Coaching Conversations. I'm Lourdes Laper, a life coach and mindfulness teacher with a frog in her throat. I'm committed to helping people unlock their potential and cultivating confidence and calm. This episode is number 4 of our Stoic mini course. Last time we talked about reframing insults and not letting other people's words run, ruin, wreck your day. Today we're getting practical and sharing how to use Marcus Aurelius's journaling method to reflect, reset, and grow.
And I'm Maria Sabio. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and life coach, and I help people transform their lives fast by combining ancient wisdom with modern psychology. And just a quick reminder, this podcast is supportive and educational. It's not therapy or a substitute for mental health care. So if you're in crises, please reach out to your local resources.
So, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, ended each day reflecting on his day and writing in his private journal. He'd review his actions, his struggles, his mindset. It was a personal debrief, right? And modern psychology backs this method up, this behavior up, because reflection helps us learn, not just repeat. It's a core part of cognitive behavioral therapy. And when you pause and review, you create space to change, not just react on autopilot.
Right. I really think that that's such a strong word. And I think that reflection is so important. And people that don't reflect tend to make the same mistakes over and over again because they haven't looked at what's causing that behavior. And when you take a moment to reflect the way Marcus Aurelius reflects in his style, you're able to take a look at the next step, the why you're doing this behavior, because it's in that seed that you're going to find change. And it's also a glimpse at, your inner working. Everybody knows, Shakespeare's know thyself, right? But journaling is a great way for you to do that, to really know yourself. Spending time, contemplating, it helps you grow and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that you've always been a big journaler, um, but it's something that I highly recommend. This ability to like quietly sit down at the end of the day and look at your day through this lens of okay, where how can I grow? What did I learn from my day? How can I grow? How can I not keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, or engaging in the same behavior that ultimately leaves me in the same place? And that's one of the beauties of journaling, is that it allows for this self-reflection where you're going to gain some insights about yourself that if you don't spend time in reflection, you may not get to. In life is very full, it's very busy, and if we don't spend that time in self-reflection, I think we're really cheating ourselves from the growth that we could have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And one thing that I think about is, when we're, conquering our whatever job or career that we have, we're always looking at systems. And I think that if we look at this as a system to grow, then it's easily applied. It's something that you're accustomed to if you think of it as a system. And, if you ever walked into an office that's still using DOS, you're wondering what's happened to them, right? And when we don't behave to our highest and best character, or who we want to be within our values, other people are saying the same thing. What's up with them? Why haven't they upgraded? It's been years. And so if we think of it as a system, I think that we've got a better chance to incorporate it, because it creates that distance. But did you want to add to that?
No. Let's continue.
Oh, okay. So this is a twist that Marcus Aurelius did when he wrote to himself in the journaling. He actually wrote to himself in the second person. So he would write things like, "You lost your temper today. You can do better tomorrow." And that little shift, it creates the distance that you need to see your day more clearly and less emotionally. And psychologists call this self-distancing. It's proven to reduce rumination and help you solve problems with more wisdom. So instead of "why did I mess up?" try "why did you feel that way today?" And this kind of reminds me of that the quote that we've all heard from Einstein: "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that creates it." And that's exactly what Marcus Aurelius is doing when he directs his journaling, or he writes in his journaling as the third person.
Yeah, this creating distance allows for more clear thinking, because you're kind of separating yourself from the emotion by speaking to yourself in third person, or even by name. It's a practice that I came across in my studies. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it creates this distance that allows you to not get so caught up in the emotion of it. And this example, I think everyone can relate to: "You lost your temper today. You can do better tomorrow," right? Because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to have caught yourself out of alignment, out of being very reactive and losing your temper. In reflecting, we know that doesn't feel good. And so how am I not going to repeat that same mistake tomorrow, right? That's part of the whole point of doing this work.
Right. And towards, that term Iliism, I can't say it, Iliism, referring to yourself, when you're speaking as in a third person: Maria doesn't like this, Maria this, Maria that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when you're specifically journaling or you're reflecting in your mind, to speak to yourself in the third person. We don't want you out there going, "Well, Maria doesn't like this," or anything crazy.
Yeah, no, that is 100% not what we're
That's not what we're advocating. Because people will look at you and say,
Yeah, right. All right. So let's move on to the 3-question tool. Try this at the end of your day with 3 simple questions. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? And what will I do differently next time? And don't just focus on mistakes. Notice your wins too. Keep it short, honest, and gentle. This isn't just self-criticism. It's actually self-coaching.
Right. This is not, oh, this is how I'm going to beat myself up today by judging myself harshly. This is where you're going to take a look at yourself with kindness, with self-compassion, and reflect on your day, because you're taking small steps in becoming who you want to be, your best self. And you don't want to beat yourself up, because when you beat yourself up, it creates a more chaos, and it doesn't create the self-trust that you need in order for you to improve. There's a part of you that needs to want to improve, and that part of you that wants the improvement, you have to be kind and you have to be gentle. You don't want to be harsh with yourself, because really there's no need for it.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's not beneficial. It doesn't help you. Beating yourself up really only just keeps you down and at your own hands too. We've all encountered those people who are super critical of others. Well, they're likely super critical of themselves first, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't help you grow. This ability to be self compassionate is actually what is going to help you to move forward in your day with a little more. Now I'm going to struggle with the word buoyant. I see it in my mind, and I want to say every single letter.
Well, the thing. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something else?
No, go for it.
So the thing is that you can start with judgment a little bit, but it's better to start with discernment, because if you start with judgment, you'll get stuck in judgment. So it's more about, being self-compassionate about it, and just looking at it, say, hey, could I have done better? A gentle question, not a, what did you do wrong, Maria? It's not like that. But let's walk through an example. Say you snapped at a coworker. So the first question that you want to, jot down is, what did I do wrong? And, it may be that, I got defensive and I raised my voice, right?
Yeah, and the point of this question, what did I do wrong, is to bring in the light of awareness of what you did, where you fell short in your own view, right? Because this is about you measuring yourself against yourself to reach your highest potential. And we don't want you to indulge in regret or self flagellation. We don't want you to, like Maria said, take a deep dive in criticizing yourself. What's done is done and you can't change it, but you can learn from it and do it differently next time. But without awareness, you're not going to.
Right. Absolutely. That self-awareness is the key to all of this. And then the next question is, what did I do right? Did I apologize later? Maybe I apologized and then I explained, that I was feeling stressed. And one thing about this, that's great that if you do apologize and you explained why, but don't let that why give you an excuse to continue that behavior. When I'm stressed, I can misbehave. When I have too much pressure, I can, misbehave. When I'm limited in time, I'm in a hurry, whatever the excuse is, that excuse is part of something that you need to look at that excuse and eliminate it, because once you put in that excuse, you're giving yourself permission to continue to do that behavior. So what you need to do further is say, when I'm stressed, I do or speak or act in ways that are not within the character of the person that I want to be. So you need to look at that and say, how can I reduce my stress? Not, oh, when I'm stressed, I can say things. No, How can I reduce my stress? How can I be calm? How can I add something that doesn't allow me to be triggered into, poor behavior?
Absolutely. That's such a great point, because if you recognize that you did something wrong, or in terms of what did I do right, and then you apologize, that's great. Certainly apologize, but don't give yourself an excuse to continue the bad behavior, maybe by labeling it as, well, this is just who I am. I have a short temper, and then I flare up, and that's just who I am. But at least I'll apologize later. No.
No, no, that doesn't work. Try it once or twice within a relationship, see how quickly you end up single, because
Well, I mean,
that's not healthy behavior. It's almost like you're giving the other person permission to misbehave when they're stressed or when they're having a bad day, right?
yeah, yes, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, Maria. Um, this like, don't add in an excuse for the bad behavior, whatever the bad behavior is. don't don't give yourself a pass for it's because of this. It's like, acknowledge the bad behavior, correct the bad behavior, but don't linger in making excuses for yourself about why it's okay to continue doing that behavior. But it's something else that I wanted to point out about this particular question of what did I do right, is that it's actually, this is actually a positive psychology intervention, writing down every day what went well, because that actually primes you to look for the positive, and it helps rewire your brain towards more positivity. And you want to celebrate your wins. What did I do well is important, and also helps you grow.
Almost definitely. So let's go to the next question. What will I do next? Pause and breathe before responding. And then write it down, because it helps your brain remember, and it builds self trust, which is so key.
Yeah, what could I have done differently? And you'll come up with, some alternatives to responding or reacting in the same old way. It's when you're able to see your pattern behavior, you're able to respond differently. You're able to really shift your path. But you have to be willing to sit with, well, what will I do next time? What could I have done differently, so that you can bring in those juices of change of, I didn't like what I did, I'm going to do something differently next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, you know, there'll always be a next time, because the universe likes to give us opportunities to grow and change. That's just how life is. And if you look at every challenge, or every moment of chaos, or every slight, or I don't want to say failure, but everywhere that maybe you didn't act within the virtues of the character that you're developing, it's just an opportunity for you to grow and to change. It's a challenge. It's like the Stoics say, the obstacle is the way.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And this may really feel awkward at first, and that's normal. New habits take practice. The goal isn't perfection, it's to create a little more awareness and more self kindness. Over time, you'll notice your patterns, what triggers you, what helps you recover, and what you're proud of. And that's how real growth happens, one honest moment at a time.
Yeah. So self-awareness, honesty, self-compassion, all things that you need it in your toolkit of the self-reflection and journaling, because this is going to change you or allow you to be your better self, the person that you want to be, the person that allows you to be happy, because the happiness comes from within you, and the happiness starts with how happy you are with yourself.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I spend a lot of years not being happy with myself. People know this about me. If you've been watching, you've heard about it. But this self-reflection is such an important tool for self-development and you know, living our values, living our virtues, and reaching our highest potential as human beings. I agree wholeheartedly with you, Maria, when you say that, true happiness is, from within. It resides within us. It's not about the externals, it is about the internals.
Absolutely. Well said. So, in the next episode, we'll talk about the Stoic control list: decisions, motivations, and character. And if journaling helps you or you want to try it, you have questions, reach out. Let's have a conversation. There's no pressure, just clarity.
And for more wisdom and resources to architect your own transformation, look for our book, A Path to Resilience, Small Steps to an Unshakable You. It blends mindfulness, the concepts of modern psychology, and Stoicism. It's a year-long companion that imparts daily wisdom based on the values of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. It's now available online and via our websites. And we just want to say thank you to everyone who's already purchased the book and left a review. We truly appreciate it. And if you haven't left a review, please do so. This helps us reach more people who can benefit from these concepts.
Yes, really, thank you. We're honored. And thank you for being here. We're walking this path right alongside with you. And take care of your heart, take care of your mind, take care of yourself. And if this episode resonated with you, like, follow, subscribe, and even share this with someone who needs a reminder that they're stronger than they think they are. And we'll see you next time.